What is up, takers, and welcome back to Tight Take. Today, I threw on the glasses and the hat. It's time to get a haircut, but I am so excited. It's Saturday. You guys know what that means. And joining me today, I'm going to let her introduce herself because if y'all saw our live last Saturday, we are talking everything Love and Marriage Detroit. And if you haven't, and if you're not really somebody that, gets into the reality television or scripted television, all I got to say is it is drama filled, it is exciting, but also with Love and Marriage Detroit, and you had pointed this out last episode that there is inspiration, there is faith, there is substance. So it's not just your messy, television that most people live for. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce my co-host and panel host for today. Take it away.
What's up, y'all? My name is Darryce, and my platform is Sincerely Libra. So make sure y'all subscribe, YouTube, follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. But I'm excited to discuss tonight's show because it was really interesting. I am a reality TV junkie since like the real world. So, yeah.
Absolutely, taking it back to the real world. And like I said, we're just here to give our take, give our perspective. And tonight's episode, no love, no grace, all shade. I feel like I can hear Carlos King saying that. Like he definitely named this episode, most of all. But so much to impact, so much to just talk about. I also want to encourage everyone that is watching on YouTube or Facebook to go ahead and chime in with your thoughts. You can use the hashtag Ties Take Meets LAMDT, or you can go ahead and chime in your thoughts in the Facebook comments or the YouTube comments, and we'll even share your thoughts throughout the show. And hopefully we can even talk to some Love and Marriage Detroit watchers. And ultimately what we're going to do is just going to be doing this every week and sharing our thoughts. All right, Darryce, I want to know your thoughts on today's episode. Let's go ahead and dive in.
Okay. So let's see. The first thing I would want to point out was Christina and Brandon, where he's not in the house or whatever. And I think it was Kobe saying that he should at least be sleeping on the couch or, something about still being in the house. And I understood her point of view, but then I also was like, he needed to be outside of the house so that he could feel, since he said he didn't want to be married to her anymore, you know what I mean? So that he could feel that absence and what it would be like if they aren't together anymore. So that was one of my first things I knew I wanted to talk about. What about you?
So for me, I think what I really took away from this episode tonight was the fact that, a lot of people a lot of people online were talking about when did we allow kids to be in grown folks' business? And I think on one hand, that is very important to point out. I think, I believe Brandon and Christina's daughters are like 6 to 8. I'm not sure on their exact ages. So don't quote me, but young enough to, still be a kid and definitely not in that teen. And I think, it is something, obviously, what's going on with mommy and daddy? Why isn't daddy here? Why are we only seeing Brandon or dad at certain times? And I think it's a tricky conversation. And for me, I'm not a parent, so I can't tell you what's right or what's the incorrect approach. But it's a conversation that has to be had within the family. And I don't know if I'm buying it. It was there, and they have a beautiful family. Their kids are beautiful, and I just don't know. Part of me wants to be like, was this an organic conversation, or did somebody, did they hear Christina talking? Or did Christina kind of tell them what to say, or was it even told what, kind of, here's how you guys should react when the cameras are rolling type of thing? Because it's reality television, it's scripted. I mean, it is what it is,
Right.
And most people do live for the messiness, unlike myself. I like the substance and the important conversations. But I want to know your thoughts. What did you think? Do you think that that scene was a little scripted, or do you think it was natural?
Interesting take on it because I didn't think about it being scripted. Of course, there's always some scripting and, push from production or guidance from production and stuff. So I get why you would say that it seemed a little scripted, just the way some of the conversation was playing out or whatever. But yeah, the girls are so beautiful. The fact that the one daughter said that he needed to work on some things or be better or something like that, and then to say that no, mommy didn't tell me that. Oh my gosh, kids will say whatever. She was like, "Mommy put you out." So I don't know. I don't know. It was interesting though. I do hope that they work out. Um, and yeah, the part about the, like you say, I am a parent, but it's definitely hard. And I like the way they did discuss with the kids. And not too, I don't feel like it was giving the kids too much, but at the same time, sitting them down to have that conversation with them, so that they can try to understand what's going on and that it is normal for adults and parents and husband and wives, to not always get along. So I that's what I liked about the scene.
Absolutely. I think like, it's we're not there filming, so it is hard to, determine whether or not it was scripted. But I think nonetheless it's circumstances and situations that impact the whole entire family. And it is something that needs to be discussed, whether you break it down or how you choose to have that conversation. It is a conversation that's very important, because we want to see them be able to work through what they're currently going through so that they can be the best version of themselves that they can be. All right, and I do see that people are starting to trickle in here, so I just want to let you all know if you're just tuning in via Facebook or YouTube, the chat feature is open, so you guys can share your thoughts and give us your takes and perspectives because it's a roundtable discussion. I see that C Jones 79. I'm gonna go ahead and show your comment. They said yes, she calls him out. Cute. And it was so cute because it was like, well, what about what mommy needs to do? Does mommy need to do anything better? And they were like, nope, nobody's perfect. But daddy, they called him out. They called Brandon out.
Yeah.
They most definitely did. So what about, how do you feel about, I know there was some name calling, and I think, for me it's like, I've made the mistake of calling people out of their names or being disrespectful to people that mean the most to me, just in the heat of the moment, not thinking clearly. So a lot of, some people were talking about, is it wrong or is there a differentiation when it comes to calling a pregnant woman out of her name versus just calling out somebody out of their name in general? And for me, I think regardless, like, disrespect is disrespect, and this is something that I'm still continuing to learn till this day, is
Mm-hmm.
that you should take some time to think before you speak, because
Mm-hmm.
once you put out energies, once you say whatever's rolling at the or on your mind at the time, you
Mm-hmm.
can't go back. So then you have to live with what you said out loud, and then
Exactly.
you have to move forward.
Yes.
And I think for me, it's disrespect is disrespect. If you call somebody out of their name, you're going to have to live with whatever in your life that may be differently now because you chose to say what you say.
Right.
And that's for relationships, that's for friendships. Once you put it out there in the universe, it's hard to retract back or, oh, I didn't mean that.
Mm-hmm. I agree 100%. But I'm missing what was the name calling Kobe names
So
or
I forgot who exactly it was, but that they are they were there was somebody was called a guard dog.
oh,
Somebody was I think the Two Stooges.
I see
Um,
that in the
and
chat.
then Peggy actually just said in the chat, in our private chat, that last season Brandon said that Chelsea was immature.
Mm,
But honestly, to me, at the end of the day, I don't remember that in season one, but I'm sure it did happen. And I think there's always a lot of name calling and people,
Yeah.
throwing
I
out.
don't like I don't like name calling. I think it's unnecessary. And like you said, people need to take time to think before you say what you're gonna say, especially if you're gonna say something that you cannot take back. I get it, people get really angry and in the moment, but not when it's somebody that you're supposed to you care about. Even if it's somebody you don't care about, but especially when it's someone you care about.
Absolutely, I completely agree, and I'm just reminding everybody that if you want to continue to chime in, we're gonna be live for just a little bit longer, so be sure to share your thoughts. We're just diving into the conversation. So shout outs to C Jones 79. I think they were referring to that part of it was too much. There's a lot of chats in here, so I'm trying to keep up. Um, but they were at the wine tasting and he was describing her character.
Oh, okay, okay.
And that was season one. So I think that, it's just like we're all grown adults. We're
Hmm.
all like, come on, we know right from wrong.
Right.
I do want to talk a little bit about Kobe and Russell. I wanna switch gears a little bit. We talked a little bit
Hmm.
about Christina and Brandon. So for Kobe and Russell, for me, I think it was very dope of Russell to go ahead and try to have a conversation with Brandon, and he was extremely respectful when he had showed up to their house
Hmm.
and was like, I was the way I was raised. I'm not stepping foot into somebody else's house,
Right.
especially a married couple, without them being here. I
Right.
thought that was very respectful. I think
Hmm.
Kobe has a very big heart. I think Kobe and Russell both have a very big heart. And I
Hmm.
think that it was very cool to see him take that time. I know some people are like, but he's not focusing on his family because he's got his hands in everybody else's business.
Hmm.
Um, I was raised this. Peggy said that she was raised the same, and I think that's very important, especially nowadays. It's easy to misconstrue things.
Yeah.
It's really, easy to misunderstand or misinterpret a situation or the way somebody feels. So I think that it is
Mhm.
important to make sure that everybody is on the same page, and I think that it like having these heart to heart conversations is important to me, and I think
Mhm.
like props to Russell for taking the time out. Um, and then like I said, counter to that, some people will argue that his heart is too big,
Really?
but I mean,
People might say it about me, so I'm a very forgiving person and I love giving grace. I think we should all be that way. Just very empathetic, like you should always be thinking about other people and not just yourself. That's where a lot of issues come in because we are self-centered, I think, by nature. We're going to look out for self first, but I'm always thinking about the other person, and even if somebody says something that I might be offended by, I'm thinking like, well, maybe they meant it this way or maybe they didn't mean it this way, so yeah. I love that they have big hearts, and I was glad to see the guys trying to help the women, the wives, men things, and um, disappointed at the end of the episode when all that work only for somebody else, a third party, to come in, and then Christina's not even present, and like it all got messed up. But I was happy to see that it looks like they're still gonna go to the party. So
absolutely. And I was laughing not at what you were saying previously, this past statement that you made, but I was laughing at this comment because um C Jones 79 said Dr. Latoya can never remember anything she heard or saw. And if y'all didn't see, we last Saturday, we were live with Anthony Thompson from Love and Marriage Detroit, and he called me out. He said that your boy Tyler is a little bit messy, and that's okay. I'll be messy. I got the nice outfit and the intellectual glasses to prove it, so I'll be a little bit messy. I really want to I was actually messy, and I wish I had the screenshot of the tweet to show you guys. But I had tweeted because I have this Bayport Merlot wine that I was like, I feel like I was like, I told my boyfriend, I was like, I feel like a housewife. Like I got the wine ready. I'm ready to watch Love and Marriage Detroit, and I was like, yeah. But I did tweet and I was like, this is it's like it was a little gif, and I was like, this is us watching Love and Marriage Detroit every Saturday. We're not drinking opulence wine yet, but we are drinking wine from the local Kroger, so support the neighborhood Kroger. Not an endorsement, but I really do want to try her wine. I was looking at her website, and I love
Mhm.
supporting small business owners. So
Yeah.
gonna have to get us a bottle of opulence, especially to celebrate your birthday and the continued success of our lives every Saturday. Because I know it's Libra season.
It
So
is.
shout out to all the Libras.
Shout out
Um,
Libras.
let's go ahead, and I want to. So I want to know your thoughts. What are your thoughts on um, Dr. Latoya and Anthony? I would love, mind you, I want to put a full disclaimer. We have reached out to all of the couples to join us on a live. We got to talk with Anthony. We have an announcement of who may be joining us next a little later before we end tonight. But what are your thoughts on Dr. Latoya? I think a lot of people are quick to jump on Twitter and talk bad about her and Anthony, but like as we talked to Anthony last weekend, he's doing so many amazing things for the
Yeah.
city and for people in Michigan. So it's hard to see all these negative tweets because everybody wants to be a troll.
Yeah, definitely. And I already told y'all how I am. So I like watching messy, I guess, sometimes, but only a little bit of mess. Like I like for it to get fixed. um so my thoughts on them, I don't like being messy. So I'm not saying this to be messy, but um he grew on me after last week. Of course, talking to him being so down to earth and all of that, but just watching the second episode, and I think I was sharing that with him, how he, took accountability for his actions and what happened with him and Brandon and Christina and stuff like that. So, but I will say before that, like from season one, I thought that both of them were a little messy. And I think he would probably agree because they were getting, he was getting in between their stuff and he admitted that he was. And then Dr. Latoya, I don't think she's intentionally messy. I don't think. I'll just say that. But some of the stuff that she was saying and putting out the first season just wasn't great for them to try to, come together and get along. And then she was speaking from a place of, well, your past and other people, what other people say, and it's not cool to go off what other people say. It should just be her going off of her experience with her and giving her that chance. So that's why I was happy for them to try to get on a better track with each other. um but I don't know, we'll see what happens. What are your thoughts?
So I think I think each of the castmates in their own perspectives, and I think they each have a certain degree of messiness. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, everybody's gonna rah 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 and turn up a little bit, just because it's television, we're being filmed. I I really would like the opportunity to speak to Dr. Latoya about her transition from, being a doctor in physical therapy to being a business owner in two different, realms, like physical therapy and then having her own wine brands. And
Right.
I think it's really inspiring to see that. And obviously Anthony, like we had talked about last weekend, how he has so many different projects that he's got going on, and I
Mm-hmm.
think they both really just want to make things better for everybody. I wish people on Twitter would stop coming for her because you guys, she hasn't to me given anybody a real reason to not like her.
Yeah.
And now I know this is where all the comments are going to come in. Peggy. said that the Thompsons are her favorite.
Okay.
Meanwhile, CJ or C Jones 90s, I can't read. C Jones 79 is saying that Dr. Latoya needs to explain herself. Not I don't remember. I think it is funny to watch Anthony and her facial reactions when they're like sitting on the couch next to each other, and he's just looking at her like, and she's just looking at him like. So I think that's funny. I think everybody knows who my favorite couple is so far, but Christina, let's make it happen. I really want to talk to Christina on the show.
Christine and Brandon are your favorite couple?
Christina is my favorite individual.
Yeah, same. Same.
I just live for it. She knows who she is. She knows her position on the show, and everybody is going to come for her. There's going to be haters for each individual one. Everybody's not going to like each other, but Christina's my favorite.
She's like the underdog because everybody seems to be against her. So I don't know if that's why I'm rooting for her, but I like her. And then I just want people to give her a chance, and I want them to, try to get along. So, yeah. And I like that she holds her own, like with everybody coming for her. She still speaks up for herself and stands her ground. And then without, to me, trying to get too messy, some of her testimonials or whatever you call it are a little messy.
I think she had just posted on Instagram, I think maybe it was yesterday or a couple of days ago before tonight's episode, and she did like the open ended where like Instagram people could respond to what she had said in her story, and she was talking about waiting to have sex until marriage, and she was like resharing everybody's thoughts, and I was like, I just love me some Christina, okay?
Yeah.
I'm the one that has her that's why I'm the president of her of her fan club. I do want to talk a little bit about Bravo and Lakita. I think that it was nice that we finally got a chance to see a little bit about them. I really want to know what viewers think about Bravo and Kita, because I know Bravo is super successful back home in Detroit. He's got multiple different restaurants in District 78, and we got to see a little bit of that in one of the episodes. But I think that I want to see more of Bravo and Lakita. I want to see more of Marcel and Kimberly, the Dobines. I want to like have kind of a more of like a equal balance between all the different couples, and hopefully Carlos King can give us that. But yeah, what are your thoughts? What was that?
I said I'm sure he will. I think he's trying to ease them in because fans are tough, especially Twitter, on new couples coming on to shows, and they will bash like, oh, they boring, or why are they here, all of that. So I think he's probably trying to ease them in and build their story. At least that's what I gather.
And so do you think, I think towards the end of tonight's episode, I think Lakita had brought up to Bravo like, hey, like check in with me, let me know everything's okay. Like, and I think for Bravo it's, you work in that industry. He has bars and restaurants that are open late, and being somebody that has worked in the service industry, like it's late hours, and I think finding that balance to make sure that you're still spending time with your family and your kids, but also like checking in and just everything's okay, I'm all right. I think that was kind of a really important conversation that they kind of like gave us just a little glimpse of that conversation.
I agree. And I didn't think it was a big ask of him for her to ask him to just check in, even if I'm asleep, because it's not like she's being insecure or anything like that, controlling. It's just a matter of his safety and her comfort level with knowing, like, my husband and father of my kids is out late, and you want to make sure that he's okay and coming home. So I didn't think that was a terrible ask, and I hope that he does do better at that. And it's so crazy that that happened to her father at a club, and then her husband is in that industry. That was crazy.
I was just gonna say I think that it was so brave because obviously we didn't get that full conversation, but I think for her to even be able to be brave and that vulnerable to bring up the
Hmm.
passing of her father and the way he did pass away on
Yeah,
the show, I think like to millions of people that are watching all over the world, I think that was really brave of her. And
I
my condolences to her and her
yes,
family from all of us, and I think that was really powerful and very very vulnerable to share.
she would be probably my second favorite person, just from the little bit that I've seen from her and know about her being on the show. She just seems real down to earth and chill, and not like about drama or messiness or anything. And of course, fans may not like that because they want drama and messiness, but I like that she doesn't.
I feel like we shall see. I'm not sure how many episodes we get this season, but if anybody knows, I kind of want to know because I was watching obviously a different show, but watching Bel Air on Peacock, and I was like,
Mhm.
how are you gonna just end it like this? So if we ever get to the point where we're reviewing other shows, I can't wait to talk about Bel Air. But C Jones 79 said, I'm interested in seeing what Bravo and his wife has to offer.
Yeah.
And I think it's like you said, it's a different perspective. It's not messy. It's not like it just doesn't give that. It gives business. It gives successful business owners. So I think we'll
Hmm.
have to see what happens. I want to circle back to what Peggy said. She said that Christina came for me in the comments because I understood what Kim was saying last week. So I think Peggy may be, and correcting me if I'm wrong, I think you're referring to the post episode live that Christina typically does after each episode on Instagram.
Mm.
But I didn't see it, but I was definitely watching because I was sending my own comments and thoughts. But if Peggy, if you want to elaborate on that, if you're still in the chat, you can feel free to do so. It
Please do.
says she sent a screenshot. I told her I like to watch the show in suspense. Um, and she says she's still here. So I just think it is cool to watch them go live on Instagram afterwards. Now I have to watch them later if they save the live because we're live.
Yeah.
But I just think it's so interesting that they all pretty much tend to interact with all of us. And it's cool being a viewer and being able to interact with the different castmates and even
Yeah.
just comment and share our thoughts, even if
Yes.
it doesn't go anywhere.
I
um,
can't believe she was. Peggy said she was mad at her or coming.
Yeah, she said, Christina came for me in the comments because I understood what Kim was saying last week.
When you say understood what Kim was saying, you mean like you could just relate, or like personally, you know?
And she said she was trying to convince me she was
Correct.
correct or validated in her actions.
Mm.
But I think Darryce, you had mentioned that that's one thing that Christina doesn't do. She doesn't bite her tongue. So I
Yeah.
mean, I don't recall what happened, what Peggy is talking about, but I'm sure I was in the Instagram live, and I think it's interesting to say the least. Um,
We might have to go live after her live.
for real, because and that's if you guys see me like checking my phone, I'm checking the tweets and everything, and I'm keeping an eye kind of on what's going on because Christina is live. So Christina, we're ready. We are ready. Um, once made fun of someone with an Android. They were offended. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the Android and iPhone
Oh, okay.
debacle. Just because I think it's interesting. I'm an Apple all the way, all the way. I'm not even gonna lie. I do see that Elante is in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and let him join us, and then we'll wrap up with our announcement. I'm excited. Because Darryce has birthday festivities to get to, and I am living vicariously through you because I'm getting ready to go to a wedding this coming weekend, and I am not ready. They said open bar. I am not ready. So, cheers. Happy birthday.
Thank
To
you.
all the Libras, we're going to go ahead and get Elante on here real quick for a wrap up. Let me see. All
I have
right.
to cheers with my water bottle.
Hey, hydrating and getting
Oh,
ready for tonight's festivities.
I don't have wine. I have cannabis.
Fair
Cheers.
enough.
Can I show
Fair
my
enough.
cannabis?
Yes, we
Is
can
this a
cheers to
cannabis
that.
friendly place?
Of course, of course. All right, so joining us is our panel, Alante from We
What's
Outside the
up, y'all?
Show. So, did
What's
you
up?
get a chance? I know you had multiple events going on today. Did you get a chance to tune in tonight?
I didn't get a chance to watch nothing.
All right,
Back
that
in my
Philo
island.
subscription is still valid and free, so you just got to keep
Yeah.
creating more accounts.
Oh no! They got me for that $27.99 this morning. They
Wow.
Did you call them? Because I called mine and was like, I didn't mean to do this. I'm gonna
They
go ahead and
definitely got
subscribe
me for
later.
the $27.99.
Wow.
Yeah, my fellas was like, I was like, who trying to get me for $27?
Philo.
I thought it was child support.
All right, Alate. So I have to ask you, being a father and being a parent. So in tonight's episode, Christina and Brandon the little man bun, and Christina, the star of the show, in my opinion, they had featured a conversation of the kids. They were doing their homework, and then Brandon had stopped by Christina's, and they I don't know. For me it was like it seemed scripted because the kids were basically like, why isn't Daddy here? And they were like, oh, Daddy made a mistake. They kind of was like they were blaming Brandon, which rightfully so. I think it is Brandon's fault mainly, but I think for me it was like it was people on Twitter were talking about, when did we start allowing kids to be in grown folks' business? So I want to circle back to this. Darryce and I had talked about it earlier. But I want to know, being a parent, like, what are your thoughts on that? And like, is that the correct approach? Was that the right way to initiate the conversation?
From the children's perspective or from the parents' perspective?
From the parents bringing it up, like, was that like cameras rolling? Like, was that the best approach?
For them to say why y'all in grown-ups business?
Well, for the parents to have the kids in the conversation in the beginning, because like people on Twitter were like, "Why are the kids even in this conversation? Like this should be between the parents."
So I got a double-edged sword about this. So on the hood side of me, and not being properly educated, I want to be like, yeah, this grown folks' business. We'll sit y'all down later and talk to y'all about this after we get out all our stuff we need to get out. But y'all don't really need to be involved in this right now. But then on the other side about it, I feel like I've been a child of like my mom and dad got divorced. They went through stuff, and I never had that closure, that conversation at all. So from that perspective, I look at it like, yeah, I wish somebody would have sat me down and maybe had that type of conversation at some point in my life. I'm an adult now, so I don't really care anymore. But when you younger, that closure is good or whatever's going on. But I mean, it is a time and a place for everything, and then kids don't need to be included in everything up front because you need to process that. Like that need to be processed, and like my mom was a firm believer on, kids should be seen and not heard. And we used to think that was so mean, but I grew up to understand that because all my mother and father's problems are not our problems. We
Right.
kids, we supposed to be shielded away from those events. Everything that happened in the house, we don't need to know about. And y'all don't need to be included about either. But, some people, like, everybody want to be their kid's best friend nowadays, too. So, everybody wants their children to be their little broke BFF. And I don't want you to be my broke. First of all, I'm not claiming you broke, and you're not ever going to be my BFF anyway. I don't care how old you get. We always need to keep them like, yeah, I'm your parent. Yeah, we're going to be cool. But, like, I'm not your homeboy, though. Like, you're not about to call me and be like, hey, Pops, you want to smoke a blunt? Nah, bro. What? Like, no, bro. We never. But yeah, I do believe in like that old school, like, and, kids don't need to be involved in everything. Like, and if we having a serious topic, a serious conversation, me and mom may say some hurtful stuff to each other. Regardless about how y'all feel, this is how they deal with it. It might not be hurtful to the adults, but it might be hurtful for the children here. So I think that should be a separate conversation after they had whatever their disagreement is, they've come to a solution. Then we include the children, but we include them in a, not so trauma bound information, and we give them what they need to know, and not our feelings. We're gonna give them facts, and they kids too. They might not even have a mindset to even process half of it. And it's not to say kids can't process it, but why give them more? Why give them more while their brains are steadily and constantly trying to develop? Like, why throw a wrench in there? You know what I'm saying? So, if grandma didn't die, I don't really understand the need to put them in every single thing. Like, I do think that children are everything, but we got to draw a line somewhere. And it's not because they little or nothing, but we're their parents. We're there to take care of them and protect them. And my job is to keep you away from things, even if I'm the wrong one, is to keep you away from seeing those things. Like, I couldn't tell you how many times my mama was late on DTE, because guess what? She never told me, because guess what? I was a kid. What was I going to do? But that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And some stuff, like you say, does need to be shielded. In this case, daddy out of the house. So a conversation needed to be had. And so I think I like the way they handled it. You got to see it so you can tell me what you think.
I'll have to check it out. But no, for sure, if it's a healthy conversation, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think you'll think it was healthy. And I think, like you said, it could go both ways. And you say you wish that would have, some conversation would have been.
Yeah, for sure.
And in this case, with him being out of the house, they separated. It's kind of like, to me, they were just bringing them to say, hey, this is what's going on with mommy and daddy. We still love each other.
They better than I am. Because I ain't moving out. I'll sleep on the couch till we.
And see, that's what Kobe said. One of the other wives, she was like, well, when she found out, like, it shouldn't be that serious. But I said that I think it was kind of good because he was the one who said he didn't want to be married to her anymore. That's her.
And he took his ring off. He wasn't wearing the ring.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's their kids together?
Yes.
I'm holding down the fort until we figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm just that's just me though. I can't speak for everybody else.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah. I just think that because he hurt her in that way by saying he didn't want to be married anymore. So it was like a thing, okay, well, maybe you should leave. This week I looked at it like, okay, he getting a chance to see what it'll be like with them being apart. You know what I'm saying? Getting a chance to miss his family, miss the kids, all of that kind of stuff. Because that's what it's gonna be if they end up
that's true.
I hope they don't. So
I'm straight on that.
And I think and for him to see them like and be like, they're like, we need daddy to help us with our math homework, and to like, he hasn't been there. Yeah. And I think they said we want daddy to be here. They didn't say we don't want our dad here. They just said daddy needs to do better the way he treats mommy. And then I thought it was interesting that when Brandon kind of had asked like, oh, but what about, like, doesn't mommy need to improve some things? The kids were like,
yeah.
That's wild.
It takes two to tango.
It do take two to tango. You're right. Can't argue by yourself.
I do hope that, Brandon and Christina, whatever their final decision is, I hope that they can, make the best decision for themselves and their families.
Yeah.
C Jones 79, and mind you, you guys can chime in with your thoughts and your take and perspective in the comments on YouTube and Facebook. C Jones 79 said, I love seeing the child during that conversation. Just give her the guidance needed. So everybody's chiming in with their thoughts. I'm gonna go ahead and Darryce, I know you got birthday plans, so I want to go ahead and thank everybody for tuning in thus far. We ran a little bit over our time, but I know you have things to do, so take a shot of tequila and some gin on the side, just because I drink gin and I'm crazy. But I want you to have an amazing birthday, and happy birthday to more blessings and birthdays to come, and a whole bunch more positivity and lives talking about all these different crazy drama-filled reality shows. but I think that we should announce who more than likely is going to be joining us for our next special guest. We are going to be talking to, I can't do a drum, I have no rhythm. Bravo. So we can confirm that Bravo is going to be joining us. So I hope we get to talk to him and just get a little bit about, you know, his experience on the show, and hopefully we can even talk to Lakita at some point. Like I said earlier, we have offered and extended the invite to all of the couples, and we're still waiting for Carlos King to call us. So we're gonna manifest it. But I want to thank everybody so much for joining us. Bravo is going to be joining us soon. We may be taking next Saturday off because I will be out of town at a wedding, but that'll give us a chance to catch up and see what we have to talk about. The next show we do is going to have to be very long because I feel like we're going to have to dissect a lot, and we're going to probably have the full team back with us.
Yeah.
So Darryce, thank you so much for joining us, and I
Thank
will
you.
see you soon. Have a safe weekend. I hope, or
Thank
safe
you.
weekend. See, my mind is already on the weekend, but I hope everybody has a safe night, and be sure to follow Darryce on Twitter and Facebook, and I'm gonna make sure that I put everybody's links in the description. And I will see you soon.
Bye.
Thank you
Thank
again.
you. Have a good weekend. Thank you.
You as well. We'll talk soon. Thank you guys so much, and we'll be back with more Love and Marriage Detroit as the drama continues. We'll see what's going on with Christina and Brandon. We'll see what's going on with the Dobines and Kim, just all of the couples. There's so many names. I'm not about to list them because I'm gonna get confused. But we'll be right back with more interviews and exclusive reviews and reactions soon.